a Chevin Chase route here for anyone that's local. And for anyone that isn't local, the Chevin Chase is a 7-mile-ish run on Boxing Day every year that comes round the Chevin, including this monstrous hill. There's usually loads of photographers stood on it as well, so I always feel obliged to run even though your heart's nearly busting out of your chest. Both Brownleys like to run it as well, although they haven't both done it the same year for quite a few years. Needless to say, they win when they do it. Back at the car park, so that was a nice 3.23 mile run, 36 minutes, so nice steady pace off-road. So almost 6 miles into the run, and I absolutely love that, where you can see where you've come from but it looks miles away. So if you can see the little cluster of trees stood on their own on the top of the hill over there, they're called the elephant trees, and they're about half a mile from my house. So I've kind of gone from there, wound my way down to Burley and Wharfdale, up to Asquith, that's Ilkley down in the bottom over there, and I'm heading now in the direction of Fewston Reservoir. So on we go, stop chatting Emma and get moving. This is nice, the farmer has lawn mowed the path into his field, so you know exactly where to go. Today is Friday and I have brought you out on a bit of a run venture with me. I was supposed to do my long run yesterday, but to be honest, when I got up it was really windy and I couldn't face the idea of an out and back on the canal, because more often than not, if you do that and it is windy, one of the two directions you're going to have a horrendous headwind to deal with, and I just wasn't up for it yesterday at all. And then today I could have gone on the canal this morning, but I decided instead of that I would do a linear route from home over to where my in-laws live in glass houses. So I plotted myself a route on Komoot last night. The good thing with that is, although I've got the route on my phone, you can still see all the other footpaths. So I've just done a little bit of a detour because there was a field full of bullocks that I didn't like the look of. So I was able to kind of see how I could find my way back round to get onto the route that I'm supposed to be on. It's going to be somewhere in the region of 18 or 19 miles, depending on how many detours I take. But I'm just taking... That's a handy ladder, if ever I saw one. Oh my god. Right, this does not look runnable. Okay. Jeez. That's what you get for avoiding sketchy looking fields with bullocks in. A complete diversion which involves bits that you can't run, but never mind, never mind. So yes, in terms of expectations for London Marathon, I've done the same as I usually do, which is follow a 12-week plan. I think the difference this time is that I'm not coming into it particularly fit. I obviously had a chunk of time off whilst I was ill with COVID, did no training at all, which has left me kind of feeling like I'm on the back foot a little bit. Particularly the long runs don't feel as easy as I would like them to. So I suppose looking at... Okay, Kamut is telling me the tour is 650 metres behind me, but that isn't helping me right now. So if you look at the times that I've run over the years doing marathons, slowest one was my first one, which was the lovely Loch Ness, and then the next time I ran a marathon after that I shaved about an hour off, and then since then I've hovered anywhere between 3:16 and just over the 3.5 hour mark. The slowest of those being Chester, which was a disaster. I blew up at about the halfway mark and just had an awful, miserable time for the remainder of the race, and discovered, interestingly, and this is a word of advice for any of you, you can't combine running and crying. Running and crying means you can't breathe and you make a sound like a donkey. So the more people kept telling me I was doing really well, keep running, except I wasn't, I was walking and then running, walking and then running, it would make me cry and then I'd make this terrible noise. So not a race that I think fondly back of at all. So yeah, I suppose anything around the 3:30 to 3:45 mark I'd be pleased with this year, but we'll see. I'll see what happens the next couple of weeks. I've still got a couple of long runs to fit in and anything could happen. You never know, I might suddenly feel like I've come into some tremendous form, but we'll see. Yeah, I'll evaluate it again probably in a couple of weeks' time. The heather looks lovely, but it's like the bloody Badlands. I can't walk, never mind run through it. And I'm a little bit nervous about snakes. It's really deep. Ooh, where is the path? Well, that last probably 1.5 kilometres has taken something in the region of 45 minutes, maybe a bit longer. Fell over a couple of times, put one foot in a bog. Anyway, mental training is what this is. That's really cheesed me off, that little bit of a diversion, but anyway, I'm back on a bit that looks like I can run for a while, so best get a shake on. Okay, so that wasn't particularly a road I wanted to end up running on, but it got me off that godforsaken boggy moorland, and I'm now back on the route that I had plotted, albeit a bit of a windy way to get to it. This is nice. So I'm having the citrus and mint Kendal Mint Company gel, which is the one that has got caffeine in, so some of their gels have got caffeine, some of them haven't. Tastes pretty nice, so yeah, I'm sticking with these. As I said in a previous video, I like them for the time being, so that's good. My watch has just beeped 14 miles, and I've been on the move for 3 hours 25 minutes, so that's pretty bonkers to think that's kind of hovering around my average marathon time to do 26.2, and I've done 14.28, so steady away. Time on my feet today is what this one's all about. I'm not overly fond of any large four-legged creatures. Cows, I always do my best to go round the fields with the cows in, and then even horses I get a little bit scared of, and this field is full of horses. Horse has managed to poo on the top step. So Mr. Commute has let me down a bit here. There is clearly a footpath down this field, but you can see that I am the red dot, and there is no sign of a footpath going down that field in front of the red dot where the arrow's pointing, but it is going in the direction that I want to be, so I'm just going to risk it for a biscuit and hope that it cuts off a little bit of a corner. We'll see. I'm just literally making this up as I go along now. The finger post had a sign on it that said Sixdale's Trail, like this one here. But for some reason the paths aren't coming up on Commute at all. So I'm just following it and hoping that it's well signposted enough that I can kind of just pick it up without being able to look at it on the map. It all sounds a little bit risky, a little bit flying by the seat of my pants, but that's probably standard for me. Anyway, this is definitely a path, so we're not going to worry, and we will keep going and hope that this brings me roughly to where I want to be. I'm now on the tour on the route that I plotted, having done a little bit of the Sixdale's Trail that was totally not on Commute at all, so I might have to contact them about that, because that does seem really weird that a recognised footpath like that isn't showing up on their maps. Very strange. Okay, I reckon I've got about 2 miles, 3 maybe, to go, and I'm at nearly 18, so it is going to be 20, I reckon. Part of me is thinking, oh, I don't want to finish it and I'll call Martin, and the other part of me is thinking, no, come on, see it through right to the end. You said you were going to run from home to Glasshouses, so do it. Okay, last little bit. So Menwith Hill from the other side now, and then there's the valley with Summerbridge in the bottom, and where I'm heading is just over the brow of that hill, Glasshouses, which is just next door to Pateley Bridge. So all good. I think I'm going to make it, which is very pleasing, and then I can have a curry when I get there. Well, not when I get there, because we've got to order it, but yeah, always nice to have something to look forward to. Pretty much downhill from here. I can see the village now, I can see the mill in the foreground. Yeah, it's literally downhill, so I'm as good as there, which is great stuff. is the little tarn that there is on Guy's Cliff. And I have seen that people swim in it. Looks quite clear actually. Quite a lot of floating stuff off the trees. But the water itself is clear, you can see the bottom. Quite tempted to have a little dip, but I haven't got anything with me, no towel. And I have to put my wet leggings and stuff back on. So maybe one for another day. So quiet and peaceful though. What a great spot. Right, I've made it. Arrived. So definitely a good endurance session. I think about 5 hours on my feet and just over 20 miles, so not moving at any great pace at all, but yeah, definitely a good one for time on my feet and for mental training, because there was a couple of dodgy moments there where I thought I was lost and I'd had enough. Tomorrow I will more than likely do a shorter easy run and some strength and conditioning. Sunday I'm not too sure yet, so you'll be able to see on my chart that I've filled in what I end up deciding to do, but yeah, a bit undecided on Sunday at the moment. Did another good interval session on Tuesday, and next week is definitely going to be an easy week, so recharge my batteries and give my legs a rest. Okay, thanks for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. Thanks very much, bye!